This is Tina Douglas, and you're listening to the Liam Photography Podcast with your host, my husband, Liam Douglas. Enjoy!
Welcome back, everyone. Liam here, and this is episode 511 of the Liam Photography Podcast for the week of July 23rd, 2026. So in this week's episode, we're going to look beyond the headlines and focus on what new gear, software, and technology actually mean for photographers and filmmakers. This week, Peak Design is rethinking the humble L bracket. Sony is packaging open gate recording and internal RAW into the new FX5 Cinema camera, and a videographer has created a free tool designed to tell you when a memory card is truly safe to wipe. We'll also look at an iPhone app that warns users when smart glasses may be nearby, and a new camera battery that can be found through Apple's Find My network. So whether you work as a professional on set, shoot on the weekends, or simply enjoy following where imaging technology is headed, there is a lot to unpack for this week. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's start first with an accessory that most photographers probably don't think about until they are standing beside a tripod and need to switch from horizontal to vertical layout. Peak Design has introduced the field bracket. Its attempt to modernize the traditional L bracket. The basic promise is still familiar: mount the camera in either orientation without tipping the tripod head sideways, changing the composition, or shifting the camera away from the center of the tripod. What makes this version different is the modular construction. The camera-specific base plate is machined from recycled aluminum, while a tool-free field latch lets you remove the vertical upright in seconds. That means the bracket can behave like a full L bracket when you need portrait orientation, then quickly become a lower profile base plate when you do not. The upright can also be repositioned to leave room for tethering cables and camera ports, an important detail for studio shooters and anyone building a hybrid photo-video setup. Now, Peak Design is also treating the bracket as the center of a larger ecosystem. An optional cheese plate replaces the upright and adds 1/4-20 and 3/8-16 mounting points, plus a cold shoe for a light, microphone, or monitor. There is an optional hand strap, and the company has created beacon finder tag that fits inside an ARCA-compatible plate. The system is designed to continue working with Peak Design's capture clip, straps, and a broad range of third-party gear. The field bracket is launching through Kickstarter, beginning at $125 with a planned retail price of $149 US and 95 cents. Camera-specific versions cover select Canon, Fujifilm, Leica, Nikon, and Sony models, while accessories begin at $39 and 95 cents. Now, this is a clever answer to a real workflow problem, but buyers should confirm that their exact camera is officially supported. And remember that even an established company's crowdfunding campaign still carries a certain amount of risk. So the key takeaways, I guess you could say, are the vertical section detaches without needing tools. That's a game changer in itself. And it leaves a slim camera-specific base plate behind when you take off the upright portion. The upright can move for cable clearance, while an optional cheese plate supports video accessories. The ARCA-compatible ecosystem includes a concealed Find My style tracker, a hand strap, and Peak Design integrations. Kickstarter pricing starts at $125. Planned retail will be $149.95. Now, why does this matter? Well, this is less about reinventing portrait orientation tripod shooting and more about reducing the number of plates, cages, and adapters a hybrid creator carries. If the latch is rigid and the camera fit is precise, one base could move smoothly between handheld work, a tripod, a capture clip, and a lightweight video rig, which is a win-win for everybody. I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. And I would assume probably it's going to be like each version for, each major camera type, whether it's Canon, Sony, Nikon, Fujifilm, whatever. I have a feeling they're going to be fairly universal. The base plate designs are generally fairly common from camera to camera. And if you have the option to be able to lift the cheese plate over the vertical upright part to accommodate cables and port doors on the side of the camera body, then that's going to make it more of a uniform or universal design as well. So I think that could be a huge win. And I'm really excited about that. So I can't wait to see this thing come to fruition. Now, again, keep in mind, Kickstarter is not an online store. You are risking your money. However, this is Peak Design's 17th Kickstarter, and they've followed through on every one of them, all of the previous 16. So you're not really risking your money as much as you would with somebody that's a newer company or an unknown variable or whatever the case may be. Okay, so now we're going to go from this piece of hardware to Sony new FX5. Looks like it's a major step for the company's cinema line because it occupies the space between the compact FX3 and the more production-oriented FX6. It keeps roughly the same small body philosophy as the FX3, but adds a newly developed 16.6 megapixel fully stacked full-frame sensor and Sony's Bionez XR2 processor. This combination enables 5K recording and gives Sony enough processing headroom to answer several long-running filmmaker requests. The two headline features are the 3x2 open gate recording and internal XOCN RAW. Open gate uses the sensor's taller area, giving filmmakers more freedom to reframe for horizontal and vertical delivery or to work with anamorphic lenses. The FX5 includes an anamorphic D-squeeze as well. The OCN is Sony's 16-bit linear RAW format designed to preserve extensive color and tonal information without the extreme file sizes associated with some RAW workflows. The catch is media. Guaranteed internal RAW performance requires a BPG 400 certified card, so you're going to need very fast cards for this thing. Sony is also introducing 5K at up to 60 frames per second and 4.5K at up to 120, along with three base ISO settings, 800, 4000, and 12,800. Now, I did watch Jordan's review of this camera on Petapixel earlier today on their YouTube channel, and he's extremely impressed with how clean the footage is with all three of the base ISOs. He said it's just absolutely amazing. Now, a dual gain mode is rated for up to 16 stops of dynamic range, although it comes with a sensor readout speed trade-off. For exposure and color evaluation, the interface now includes false color, waveform, and vector scope tools, alongside zebra lines, peaking, and a histogram. Around the body, there is an improved stabilization, AI-assisted subject recognition, stronger low-light autofocus, dual slots that accept UHS 2 SD or CF Express Type A cards, full-size HDMI port, Ethernet, 2 USB-C ports, and tri-band Wi-Fi. A detachable 3.68 million dot electronic viewfinder is available, but it occupies the connection above the multi-interface shoe, creating a choice between the EVF and shoe-based 32-bit XLR audio. The camera also lacks the FX6 built-in electronic ND filter, and the XLR handle is not included with the body. Now, it does have the detachable EVF, and another thing that you need to know is that the EVF can be tilted. So very similar to the EVF that Fujifilm released for their GFX 100 medium format mirrorless camera, where, you attach the EVF and then you can tilt it. That's pretty cool. A lot of filmmakers are going to absolutely love that. Now, the FX5 is expected to arrive in mid-August for $4,898 US. A kit with the XLR handle is $5,498 US. Sony is already promising later firmware, including 4K at 240 frames per second in XOCN and additional open gate options, but that update is not expected until August of 2027. In other words, buyers should judge the camera on what ships now, not only what's on the roadmap. So our key takeaways here are a new 16.6 megapixel stacked full-frame sensor, supports 5K open gate capture, internal 16-bit X-OCN RAW 4.5K 120p, 3 base ISOs for cleaner video and better low-light performance, Advanced monitoring tools target serious productions. The compact body adds a detachable EVF that tilts, dual format card slots, full-size HDMI, Ethernet, and improved AI autofocus. Now, the $4,898 body-only price omits built-in electronic ND and the XLR handle. Several promised features are scheduled for later firmware next year in 2027. So just wanted to share that with you so that you have a good idea of what you're looking at if you're interested in that particular camera. All right, every production eventually reaches the same uncomfortable moment. The footage appears to be copied. Somebody needs the memory card for the next job, and the team has to decide whether it is truly safe to format it. A UK videographer named Luke LV, who runs the production studio Lumaria, built a free app called Stow to make that decision more reliable and easier to understand. The workflow is intentionally simple. Insert the card, choose two destination drives, typically a working hard drive and a backup, and Stow copies the card to both locations at the same time. After the copy, it reads every file on both destination drives and compares the data with the source card. The app does not write anything back to the card. When verification succeeds, it provides a clear message that the card is safe to wipe. Sorry for the background noise. I wanted to do this outside because it's nice and cool today. Now, the workflow is intentionally simple. Insert the card. You choose your two destination drives, typically a working drive and backup, of course. It does all of that, and that makes it safe to wipe the card when it's all done. Now, the verification step is the important distinction. A normal drag and drop copy can finish without the operating system proving that every destination byte matches the original. If a copy is corrupt or incomplete, a creator might not discover the problem until days or months later after the source card has been formatted and reused. Stow is designed to replace the reassuring but vague feeling of seeing files in a folder with an actual readback verification, which I think is amazing. So, copying to two distinct drives also supports the first part of a 3-2-1 backup strategy, which I always recommend. Keep 3 copies of the important material on 2 types or pieces of storage with 1 copy located off-site. Stow does not complete that entire strategy by itself. The original card and the 2 local drives are not a substitute for an off-site copy, but it helps crews leave a chute with redundant verified local copies at least. Now, the app is free for Mac OS and Windows, requires no account, and has no in-app purchases at all. There is one current caveat. It has not yet been certified by Apple or Microsoft, so users may encounter operating system security warnings and must follow the developer's installing guide. Certification is reportedly the next step for working professionals. That means the idea is compelling, but the software should be evaluated with non-critical media before it becomes part of a production's official data handling procedure. And, I mean, this is huge. I mean, this is awesome. I love this idea right here because on a big production set, it is always, hit or miss. Did we get all the data copied off? Do we know we have good copies of all of the files, the clips, the photographs, whatever the case may be, the audio? So this definitely removes all of that anxiety from your production workflow. That's fantastic. And like I said, it stores copies to a card and as well as 2 destinations simultaneously, then reads and verifies that both copies are bit for bit exact duplicates of the source files. The app never writes the memory card and provides a simple safe to wipe result. So basically it just tells you that it's safe to wipe the card and then you got to wipe it yourself. It does not do that for you. So let's see here. It supports a disciplined backup workflow, but does not replace a complete offsite 3-2-1 strategy, of course. Stow is free and account free, though current Mac and Windows installation may require bypassing operating system security warnings. So just to let you know that, so you know ahead of time going into this. I haven't had a chance to check this out for myself. I will check it out before next week's podcast episode, and I'll give you my 2 cents and let you know that I've confirmed that, it's safe, everything's hunky-dory, it's not malware, all of that good stuff, okay? Because I know not everybody is super tech savvy like I am. I've worked in IT and photography for 35 and 40 years, respectively. I got that wrong, tongue-tied. Okay, so the next story. Smart glasses are becoming more common, and so is the anxiety around cameras that are easy to overlook. A new iPhone and iPad app called Anti-Zuck is trying to give users more situational awareness by scanning for Bluetooth signals that resemble devices such as Meta Ray-Ban glasses, Snap spectacles, Amazon Echo frames, and Ray Neo smart glasses. The app's limits are as important as its features. Anti-Zuck cannot tell you who is wearing a device, where that person is standing, or whether the glasses are recording. Smart glasses do not broadcast a detectable Bluetooth signal continuously either. They may become visible only during events such as powering on, pairing, or opening a charging case, so a positive detection is best understood as a clue that a supported device may be nearby. No proof of surveillance. And no alert does not guarantee that the room is free of smart glasses. Within those limits, the app presents nearby signals as visual blips and provides estimated proximity, confidence levels, and repeat sightings. Optional local notifications can appear while the app is closed. Users can review detection history, snooze alerts, check home screen and lock screen widgets, and pause or resume scanning from Control Center. On compatible iPhones, that control can also be assigned to the action button, which is pretty cool. Now, the developer emphasizes a privacy-first design. Detection is processed locally on the device with no required account. Advertising, analytics, tracking, cloud upload, or access to the camera, microphone, or screen recording or location. Owners of smart glasses can register their own pair so it moves into a separate list and does not repeatedly trigger warnings, while unfamiliar signals can still be monitored. Anti-Zuck is sold as a one-time App Store purchase rather than a subscription. The broader story is not that one app has solved the smart glasses privacy debate. It has not. Instead, it demonstrates how consumer tools are emerging in response to a social gap. Wearable cameras can be subtle, recording indicators are not always obvious to bystanders, and people want some way to make informed choices about the spaces that they occupy. All common sense. So the key takeaways: Anti-Zuck looks for Bluetooth broadcasts associated with several smart glasses families. Detection is best effort. It cannot identify a wearer, confirm recording, determine direction, or guarantee that no device is present. So keep that in mind. Scanning history, stay on device with no account, no ads, no analytics, no camera access, microphone access, or location access. The alerts, widgets, Control Center controls, and personal device registration make ongoing monitoring much, much easier. So I think this is definitely a cool app. I'm going to have to check it out for myself, and I'll update you on it next week. I'll give you a little update. I'll find out what the price is because it doesn't say here in my source article. All right, so next we have an article on FalCam. So if you're a photographer or videographer, you know one of the biggest things that we have to constantly have in the back of our minds, besides plenty of memory cards, is plenty of batteries. And then you got to be able to keep track of all these memory cards and batteries. So camera batteries have a remarkable ability to disappear into the wrong pocket. The bottom of a production case or a hotel room just when you need them most. Falcom's new TagBat line tries to solve that small but expensive problem by building Apple Find My support directly into rechargeable camera batteries. The first models cover two of the most common battery formats, Sony's NP-FZ100 and Canon's LP-E6 family. Falcam says that Nikon EN-EL15 and Fujifilm NP-W235 versions are planned as well. Each battery is rated at 2600 milliamp hours or 17.43 watt hours and includes a USB-C port for direct charging. That means you can top it up with a common cable and power adapter instead of carrying a dedicated charger, while still retaining the option to use a conventional external adapter, or charger, The Find My integration is Apple certified, which is awesome. Misplaced battery can appear in the Find My app, trigger a left behind alert, and play an audible sound when it is somewhere nearby. If the battery is installed in the camera, that same tracking function could help locate the camera as well. Because the tracker is inside the battery, it is less conspicuous than a tag hanging from a strap or sitting in an obvious bag pocket, although no consumer tracker should be treated as a guaranteed anti-theft system. Falcam also says the batteries provide accurate charge level information in compatible cameras without the warning messages that sometimes appear when using third-party batteries. Built-in safety protections are intended to handle common charging risks and support battery longevity. Compatibility is broad with the supported form factors, including many Sony Alpha and FX bodies, a long list of Canon EOS and Cinema models, but buyers should still check their exact camera before ordering. Both launch versions cost $70 and are available now. That is more than a basic off-brand battery, so the value depends on how much you care about the USB-C convenience and the location tracking. I think it's huge. For photographers who manage multiple bags, travel frequently, or rotate batteries across the production team, those features may prevent enough lost time or one lost camera to justify the premium price point. So that's definitely exciting, and I think it's great. Now, Falcam, they've been making photography and videography accessories for years. I've got a whole bunch of their gear in my studio and in my home office, photography, podcasting, YouTube office, yada, yada, yada. They make really great stuff, and as the article says, they are already Apple Find My certified, so that's definitely a plus for all of you out there as well. I think it's worth the premium price. $70 does sound steep, but would you want to pay $70 for an OEM Canon or Nikon or Sony battery or Fujifilm battery? I know some of them aren't that expensive, but would you want to pay that to them, or would you rather pay it to Falcam and get the USB-C direct charging in the battery and the tracking in the battery? I think that's definitely worth the premium price. That's my 2 cents, but that's the way I look at it. So, okay, so that is all the stories for this week's photography news. We covered everything from modular camera hardware and featured pack new cinema camera body to safer media handling, wearable camera awareness, and a battery that is much harder to lose. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which story caught your attention the most? Would the Sony FX5 change the way you work? Is verified card offloading something you want in your workflow? And would Find My support convince you to pay more for a camera battery? Share your thoughts in the comments. You can comment on YouTube, or you can also comment in the Liam Photography Podcast Facebook group. Either one is perfectly fine. I do read everybody's comments. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. Sharing the video with another photographer or filmmaker also helps the channel reach more creators. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. Stay curious, keep creating, and I'll see you again next Thursday.